to the interview room. Muzzy checking in, the time's here. How you all doing? All right, let's begin. Let's have a chat about the fact that I want to interview the best fighters in the world, and that's that. Had a lot of guests from everywhere, all across the globe. Fighters tell me about the joint.
Hey everyone, Muddy here from Muay Thai Interviews again. My next guest, I'm really excited to have a chat with. He's been on a bit of a hiatus, but word on the street is he's making a return shortly. He was a boxing trainer at Star Fitness in Melbourne, but has since moved back home to Adelaide, where he is training out of Strong Heart Muay Thai. He's fought in a 4-man and an 8-man tournament. He's been through some highs and lows in life, but he has used Muay Thai as a way to channel all that negativity into something positive. He's currently having a break from fighting, but I'm hoping, like a lot of other people who have seen him fight, that he makes a comeback in the very near future. I'm joined by Cory, the Cowboy Smith. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. So, how was it when you opened up your own gym in Melbourne? What was that like, and how was it going from being a student to the trainer?
Oh, mate, like crazy stressful. Yeah, yeah. Just way different. I learnt some things, learnt some life lessons, man. I'm not a good businessman. I learned that one doing half of everything for free. But yeah, I learnt that. I learnt that you can. Some people are different. You can teach and be okay with it. You know, you're used to it, and you know, you can still train yourself, or you can kind of learn to, you know, start hating it, if that makes sense. Like too much of the one thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So I found that for me, and yeah, I just took a step back, pretty much. Just get back to training. So yeah.
Yeah, got to focus on yourself sometimes and do the selfish thing, don't you?
Well, it's a selfish sport. People forget that how selfish it is. It's just you.
Just you and your opponent in the ring, and the referee. But yeah.
Yeah, free.
Now, one thing that made me really keen to talk to you, apart from obviously I've been following you for a little while, is a while ago I read a post that you put up on Facebook, and I'd just like to read this out to the listeners, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So what you wrote was, quote, "How I feel teaching and fighting Muay Thai to the T. For years I was a labourer working in plaster, electrical, construction, farm work, rural mining, metal work, office work, and much more, and you enjoyed none of it. With crappy bosses, ripping people and myself off to top it off, finding it hard to find any happiness or stimulating effect out of sports, or be it social situations that others could. My mental health was stuck at a dangerous self-harm rock bottom. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I just cracked one day. I thought, fuck it. I quit all work with fuck all money, and I put 100% of my effort and time into Muay Thai, which was introduced to me by Don Miller, letting me stay at his gym, train and fight, who I thank a lot. I'm sure there are many people stuck in shitty jobs or situations, shitty jobs being me for one, dwarfing minds and others. Change them. It's not easy at all. In fact, it's the opposite. Very fucking hard, but worth all the grinding, pain, tears, sweat, surgeries, rehab, work, battling anxiety, depression, self-harm, self-worth, and more. I know mental health doesn't really come into the whole or do what you love thing, but I thought sharing my side might help others affected. It can be hard to share mental health issues. Do what you love," unquote. So first of all, thanks for writing something so personal and putting it out there. Would you be able to talk about how Muay Thai helped you overcome a lot of these obstacles in your life, and what was it that finally made you snap and decide that you were going to do what finally made you happy for once?
Yeah, that's a really good question, eh? Well, I guess it started, I was here in Adelaide. Well, I grew up in Adelaide, where I am now. And I was always into sports, like I was at a sports school, Henley High School, and I was doing hockey, athletics, lots of different sports. So body was moving in all different ways. So I always found myself just training probably too much, I'd say, an unhealthy amount for a young fella. But I kind of found that was an outlet for, you know, problems and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I just continued with that. I left home when I was about, I'll probably say 15, 16,
Yep.
around that area. And I was just doing it on my own kind of thing. And you know how things go, you just go off into the wrong direction.
Yep.
And I was lucky enough to have some good people around me that pushed me into Muay Thai. And I got addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I kind of just jumped on the Muay Thai train, and I found myself just all I had at the time was just a bike, like a push bike.
Yep.
And at the time, I was you know, doing a bit of velodrome racing as well.
Yep.
Which I don't think many people would know. It's a bit weird of a sport to, you know, cross over to.
Go on.
But,
Tell us what that is.
Oh, sorry. Velodrome racing is so it's like a cycling.
Yep.
But it's on a 40-degree pitch. You see it on the Olympics, you know, where they pass each other and stuff.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I did a bit of that. So it took me a while to realise what I really wanted to do. And yeah, I moved over to Muay Thai, and I was riding my bike to work, rain, hail or shine, and then to Muay Thai every day as well. And yeah, so I kind of started with that. I don't think I would be just raw and honest. I don't think I'd either be here right now or in a good place if I didn't have Muay Thai.
So
yeah.
Riding and wearing the lycra didn't do it for you, did it, mate?
It did, man, but that's another interview. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I do Muay Thai interviews. You have to find someone that does bicycle interviews, mate.
Oh man, I think that might be quite hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Just as long as you're not one of those people that takes up a full lane on the road, that's okay. That's all I care about.
Oh, I take up two. Yeah.
You're not a vegan as well, are you?
Oh, please don't.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
It's all good. We're on the same page then.
Nah, we're good. I love eating meat.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Please don't hate me, vegans. Yeah.
You've also come out and publicly acknowledged and credited Don Miller for introducing you to Muay Thai and letting you stay and train at his gym while you were there. What sort of a positive effect did he have on you while you were training under him?
Oh, mate, massive. I can't even. It's hard to even put it into words. Like I met Don when I was real young, and I chased a girl to Melbourne. That's how I ended up in Melbourne. And
Always the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, always the way. And I was I was pretty young, and I was like, oh, you know, I'll get engaged, or you know, like, you know, chase like the, you know, the house, the you know, the job,
man,
you know,
and the kid, and
the whole
everything,
family thing. But like, I think there was like, I don't know, there was a hole inside of me where, I don't mean this in a cocky way at all, but like I felt I was like made for something a bit more. Like I wanted more. I was a bit selfish in that aspect. So yeah. And he kind of just opened up that door for me. Yeah, he did a lot. And I started training with him. I had my, what was it, 1, 2, I think three fights in, I think, 2015, early 2015, I think. And I kind of fell in love with it. And then I just went off the block and went back to that, you know, relationship, family life.
Yep.
And that didn't work out. So that didn't work out. And then I it's just going through some struggles and that, and Don helped me out a lot. Like I came back to the gym and I just started living at the gym, it first started with, can I stay at the gym and, you know, do some classes here and there and, you know, just do this. And then I just was training hard every single day and just got along so well with Don and everyone else. And yeah, it was like it is a family. And I just started living there for good.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't tell the council that though. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Because you had a fair few fights at Super Fight, and then was it Donnie that sent you to Sanctionoy Gym? Because I'm keen to ask you about your time at Sanctionoy Gym and what that was like. Because I believe you actually fought in a 4-man tournament over in Bangkok, which you actually won. Tell us about that.
Oh, dude, that was crazy. Like, I got so nervous and all these mixed emotions. Where at the time I didn't even know what I was feeling. I would put on a like, you know, an average bloke, like I was good. When, like, I was just a cocktail of just fucked up emotions. Yeah, but
on the outside you're like, yeah, I'm good, and in your head you're just thinking, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, like, why do I do this again? Like,
I know that.
What the fuck? Yeah. Wake up every day. Yeah, but it was pretty crazy. I went over to Sankins, and you know, like most Thais have like a whole bunch of names, but we called him Pitu, so like P for elder, and his name Pitu. So he started training me. The credit to training in Australia actually is I went over there and I was already strong in a sense, like my body wise. I wasn't sort of, you know, the head over the toes folding over because everything's so tight on your body on the front.
Yeah.
In relation to, you know, just injuries and stuff. So I was nice and fresh, which was good. And he could see that. And I was preparing for preparing for a fight because that's what I wanted to do. I always wanted to do it in Thailand. And I do believe it was the first time I fought there. Yeah, it was. And we were up late at night, and I wasn't drinking any whiskey, but
you don't have to lie to me, mate. It's all good.
Nah, I wasn't. I swear. Yeah, I can't handle my alcohol. I just have a little bit and act like a child. That I am. Yeah. But yeah, it was me, Sam. Who else was it? And Sang Tien, and there was a sort of like a Thai gangster kind of guy.
Yeah.
It was a bit odd, but yeah, and we were up late at night, and they're all drinking whiskey and kind of stuff, and he was showing fights and all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty surreal. I got to sit down and like more that side of it was, I'd probably say, more interesting than training itself. The intellectual side of just picking and like a old school era's brain, man, is like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just nuts. I can't even describe the stories and everything else. So yeah, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. He said, "Oh, would you like to?" This is after training very hard. We trained for ridiculous hours, sometimes like 3.5, 3 hours. But Sam would just, I don't know, the Viking years would just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty good to train for like 5 hours at night." Yeah, it was crazy. It's really good to look up to. But yeah, we were sitting down, you know, they were drinking and all that kind of stuff, the Thais. And he said, you know, I have, I think it was Song Chai Promotions.
Yeah.
He's a big promoter over there. Excuse me if I've pronounced that wrong to anyone. Pinky will hit me up that later. Yeah. And he said they are in need of like a, you know, a Westerner for the 4th entry. There was something like a pullout or something went wrong, and he said, "Would you like to fight? Like, it's tomorrow." And I said, "Okay, yeah, I'll fight." And I was thinking weigh in tomorrow, and it was actually like, weigh in night, and you know, fight the next day, how it is in Australia,
yeah,
and a lot of other places. But I was completely wrong. It was, and it was, mind you, it was like I think 2 o'clock in the morning at this point. and I've watched a million of his videos online of him in Tokyo and fighting Ramon Deckers and so forth. So I'm tired as fuck. And he goes, "Oh, you weigh in at 5:30 a.m." And I'm looking at him, I'm like, I want to say like, have a think about it. And I thought, nah, like just say yes, just don't say no.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I just said, yeah, I'll do it. That's fine. And it was actually I was told it was just one fight, which I don't think many people would know. Like, I thought it was just one fight. So they weighed a whole bunch of people there, and I didn't know until later, but they weighed 4 of us at once, and I thought everyone was just weighing in. And then we got to the promotion at night. I have my jump in the ring for the first fight, and I was actually sitting next to the Thai, who I was fighting, and he's wearing these what's the Hello Kitty like slip-on thongs. Yeah, and don't let it deceive you. Well, as you know, like yeah, just and I was just chatting to him and all that kind of stuff, just like normal, which is actually really cool. That was an awesome experience, like, and take away that whole masculinity, like I'm gonna beat you up crap, which is quite cool. Yeah, but I jumped in the first time, real nervous. I had Sam in my corner. Pitu was in the crowd with his whiskey cup, and he just gave me one thing to do. He said left body, so left body punch. And Sam loves that one as well. So they were showing me what to do. Yeah, and I kind of just pressed forward, and it just came out of nowhere. I hadn't touched the body. It was just one touch to the body, and I went to control the hands and close, like cover his ears in a sense, if you get the idea, and pull in for a knee, and his body weight just fell, like slipped through my hands, and I looked down, and I was kind of like didn't know what to do. Like I didn't even know how to walk back to a corner because I've never dropped someone before. So I'm looking around and stuff. It was pretty crazy. And then I get back, we go out the back, and they're rubbing my body down. Sang Tian comes up and says, do you think you can fight again? And I'm taking off my anklets and all that kind of stuff, ready to go eat and drink and all that kind of stuff, because I'm happy. Just want to fight. And he goes, I said, yes, I think I can fight. And he goes, oh, well, you fight again. And I said, yeah, I'll fight again. And he goes, now. And I've gone, what? Okay. And I was just a bit overwhelmed. And then I thought, it all makes sense. I walked up into a stage, lined up with 4 people with a belt, and I had to, I don't know, do some little intro kind of thing to the camera. And I was like, so stupid, man. But I didn't even realize, like, it didn't click because I was very nervous. So.
It's awesome, those things that happen, and those little memories and little things that you take away with you, because like nowhere else, or definitely not in Australia anyway, like rarely anywhere else in the world is that sort of thing going to happen to you.
Oh yeah, like and I think that's why I was so attracted to Muay Thai. Like I watched did you grow up on is it Bloodsport?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Van Damme.
Yeah, I'll admit something as well. I don't know if it's Bloodspot or Bloodsport. Yeah. I half say it so no one notices. But but Van Damme, he was cool, man. He still is cool. But he was cool, and I love that whole approach of like, obviously it's not like that where you put the glass on the rope and then they fight and all the ridiculous moves and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, it was something cool to kind of see if it was like that. But it was different over there. Like I warmed up under actually it was one of the most beautiful moments. Like I didn't realize I took it in until I came back, and like 6 months later, until my head slowed down a bit. Like I warmed up underneath this beautiful, like, I don't know, it was like a blossom tree or something like that. And they had, you know, the wooden kind of throw-out rug where they warm you down, you know, your Thai massage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was all outdoors like a festival.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
like, how many people can say that, you know, they've warmed up like barefoot and I was pulling sticks out of my feet and shit like that. Yeah, and like, I did bugger all, like, let's not lie, it wasn't no warm up. Like, just walk around in the tiny little area that you had. And I don't know, that was a pretty cool moment that I think a lot of people should experience.
Yeah, man,
So,
and it's funny because Thais don't really, well, they don't warm up compared to by Western standards. You know, Western standards they go there, they get rubbed down, do the stretches, skip, kick pads, keep warm. Thais just get rubbed down, maybe do a bit of a stretch, and then that's it. They just sit there waiting with a towel over them to go into the ring. I'll tell you a
yeah.
cool little story. When I was at Sitman Chai, just a few months ago, I went and watched we went and watched some festival fights, and it was no bullshit in the middle of a sugarcane field.
You're kidding me.
No, bro, it was
No way.
it was the best thing I've ever, like. I've been to a few festival fights, and I absolutely love them, man, because they're just, well, I've not all of them, but a lot of them, they're just I think people just fighting for cash. Like, you get some really good fighters, but the skill's not necessarily there, but they just come to absolutely throw down, and they don't give a shit, and they'll just go for 5 rounds and just belt each other's heads in, and it's so good to watch. But just the atmosphere as well, like outdoor, and I'm looking around with my phone scanning it, just going, mate, where in the world are you ever going to see a Muay Thai ring in the middle of a sugarcane field with all the utes parked
Yeah.
in like a big half circle, because they've got
Toyota.
Toyota or Isuzu.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, I absolutely love that, and I know exactly where you're coming from. And at your time at Sanctionoy, what was it like training with Sam Bart? Because I know you both used to train together at Superfight Gym as well. And did he have any influence over the way you fought, or did he ever give you any valuable bits of advice that you could share with us?
Oh, mate. I probably account like he was. You meet lots of people along the way, but he's a special dude. He, apart from being a Viking, the
Yeah.
story is true. That guy just doesn't like. That guy fought Sexan, and afterwards, like, we were there at the time, and you know, I'm just a fanboy in the crowd, just like waving his flag up, like, "Oh, don't judge me." Yeah, yeah. But I asked him, like, "Is your body sore?" And he goes, "Oh, my toenail is really sore." I'm like, "Oh, you know, is it broken?" He goes, "No, just the toenail's sore." And I looked at him, I'm like, "You're mad. Like, you just went like a 3-round war with Saxa and your toes sore, you know?" But yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Apart from that, like, he's it was crazy. I think a lot of people experienced training with Sam. I'd probably say his mentality
Yeah.
was the biggest thing, and he opened me up to that as well, because I was kind of on board with the, you know, concentrating, and like I'm a very 0 to 100 person,
Yeah.
which can be, you know, a great tool, but it can also be your undoing,
Hmm.
because you don't switch off, and it can just drive you mental. Yeah. But he had that balance very well, the 0 to 100,
Yeah.
and, you know, switching on and off. So he actually, one thing I copied him, like we talk about it as well. He told me the Thai word for it. I think like thief or something. I've forgotten what it is. But I said to him, "Oh, you know, I just want to steal like what you have, like take bits and pieces from you." And he goes, "Yeah, no, it's a good way of thinking." Sang Tian told him that, like, he would take, you know, like certain things, and you fill your cup,
Yeah.
and yeah, like, you know, you have a full cup to fight with. I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah.
that definitely does. Yeah, take bits and pieces of different people that you train with and that you watch and implement it into your game.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people learnt from Sam. I know Reese Lean that you had to talk to.
Yep.
The postman talk. That was fun. I like that. That was a good listen.
Yeah, cheers.
And there's a Ricardo, the Italian,
Yeah.
who fights on Rebellion a lot. And who else is it? Richie. Chief Fanous. He had a lot of fights. We all kind of learnt from Sam, and in return we kind of, teach each other everything. And at Super Fight, the fighters really like came together, and it was just a good little family. So Sam had a huge input into my. I'd probably say he made me feel more comfortable with my hands and boxing, because I never really ever, well, at all, used my hands in fights until he came along. And he said, I think he held pads in the bag for me once, and he goes, "Wow, you hit hard. Why don't you use it?" And then I thought in my head, why don't I use it? Yeah. Yeah, I think there was a mental block there, so he kind of opened that up for me, which is really, cool. So yeah,
it's probably a good thing too that he said that, because like I personally, when I train, I don't like throwing punches. Well, I do, but it's just like my weakest tool. So we do more of what we enjoy doing, and what they say, discipline is doing what you hate but doing it like you love it. And I think that's probably why we neglect certain things, because I honestly, I'd rather kick a bag or knee a bag or elbow a bag than punch a bag, because I just look like a complete spaz.
I'm sure you don't. I'm sure it's yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, during your travels around Thailand, I heard it's quite common for some Thai fighters to use yaba as a weight cutting mechanism, which I believe you have witnessed on your travels. Can you tell us a little bit about that without dropping any names or throwing anyone under the bus?
Oh no, of course, man. Like there's I think I came down from, I was at a gym I won't mention, but I came down, I heard some there was a metal poles being thrown, and I was like, fuck, what's up now? Because it would be on the regular, you hear a knock on the door, and they'll push through and go sparring, and you're like, fuck, I just woke up, like, and the Thai army's downstairs, and you're straight into sparring. And yeah, I had a spar with Rambo, and just other like crazy. They just took it easy on me, which is good. So yeah, like sorry, sidetracking, but I came downstairs and I heard some stuff, and Ty was curled up in the corner, pissing into, I think it was a 600 ml Coke bottle.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And it was. We later figured out, I don't know if he fucked up or something, but we later figured out that there was this was a fighter who had been at the gym for quite a long while actually. It was a young fella, 16, 15. And a new fighter had come along, and I think maybe got him on the wrong track of, yabba and all that kind of stuff, which is really sad. It's nothing but it's quite normal over there at the same time. So yeah, it was pretty crazy, because obviously that's not any good, which is by the trainer. It's a good thing to not promote that crap, obviously, but what trainer would, I guess. So
when you say he was pissing in a Coke bottle, was that because the trainer made him take a piss test?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't elaborate. Yeah, for a piss test, yeah. Yeah, so lucky Coca-Cola don't put Coke in their Coke anymore. Don't put Coke in. Yeah, otherwise they come up for heaps of crap. Yeah, but so he got tested. And came back not positive, but which is good. But it was very common over there, like the yabba and all that kind of stuff. I was in a gym 40 minutes north of Bangkok. I'll probably say 45 to 50 minutes north drive.
Yeah.
And it was just a small gym, surrounded by rice fields. We had one temple and 7-Eleven, and all that was 15 minutes scooter away. And so there wasn't much out there. It was just me and a couple of other white fellas out there for a long time. I actually remember having a jog one morning, and there was this, I don't know if they were Swedish or I think they were European, this white couple. They were older, probably in their 50s or late I'll probably say their 50s, yeah, or late 40s,
Yep.
just cycled past me, casual as, and I looked at them, I'm like, well, I'm white too, like, and I'd like chase them, because I hadn't seen, like, you know, not much English was spoke at the gym and all that kind of stuff, and I'm running after, like, and like I need to make contact. It was like Wilson, you know. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know, just I thought it was a bit comical anyway, but yeah, yeah.
It's always good, like when you're overseas, and like I didn't realize myself until I went overseas, but because in Australia you think we don't have an accent because we all sound the same, but as soon as you go overseas and you hear all these people from different countries talking, and then you hear an Aussie talk, you're like, straight away you go, that's an Aussie.
Yeah, 100%. Like even like just what you said there, like different accents, and I'd probably what I think in over, like, my mind goes crazy and just thinking all the time, but even perception of everything. Like I went over and like I would I don't know, just like get nervous talking to someone, you know, from a different country. Like I don't know the way to explain it, but just I'd probably say traveling, which I'd never done before that, by the way. I've never really traveled properly, or seen, you know, the raw, rugged lifestyle in different countries, and it just changed my perception and my way of thinking. Like we aren't so big as we think we are, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And, yeah, on a not on a depressing note, more happier note, like you know, I don't know, it's just a big place, and kind of recharge my batteries in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's pretty cool, you know. So I think people need to travel, hey, especially to Thailand.
So have you got any plans in the near future to head back to Thailand at all, or just take it as it comes?
No, I do, but like everything's ran by that fucking piece of paper, or well, plastic in Australia, that fucking plastic note they call money. So yeah, it's an asshole. But just saving as much money as I can, and I would actually love to try, and I've always tried to. I don't know if it's pride. I put it down to pride, and tried to do it all by myself. Like I left for Thailand the first time with I did have money set aside, but Richie, Sam, and I had a little party, and we got really, really drunk. They lost their passports, and I decided I had mine. They left their bag of passports downstairs.
Yeah.
And a homeless person, I'm guessing, has come through, or just a thief. Actually, that was a bad way of putting it. Sorry. Has come through and picked it up, and we actually found the bag down the street, you know, all riddled through and all that. So they lost their passports, but I had mine. But I didn't want to dog them and, you know, just go catch my flight. So we drove around in the early morning in Don's big four-wheel drive, looking for, you know, like a sign of their bag, or like to get the passports back. And in return, by not dogging them, like I missed my flight. And one thing that got stolen, actually, that was in the bags that I put in their bags, was all my money.
No.
Yeah, so I actually a girl from the gym, Jerry, helped me out heaps, man. She paid for my flights to go over. Like I think it was like 2 or 3 days later.
Yep.
And I have $4.50 Australian to my name, and it was it was nuts. Yeah, I didn't know what I was gonna do. So my training was already paid for and so forth. So I kind of didn't party or anything like that. So that was a surreal experience. That foreman actually, I won 20,000 baht, and that actually supported me for the rest of my training. You know, for little 7-Eleven runs and, you know, nibbles here and there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's pretty crazy.
Who doesn't love a late night run to 7-Eleven at 12 o'clock in the morning, getting the ham and cheese toasties? I love them.
Oh, dude, I saw a photo of Joe. Have you spoken to Joe Sintai?
Who's it, sorry?
He's at Andy's gym, Joe.
Oh, Buck Joe Sintai, yeah.
Yeah, Buck Joe. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He I saw a picture of he put up like trying to stay like a reasonably healthy in Thailand. It's just got like, I think it was a boiled egg or a couple of other different things, and it's like like some of the healthiest shit that you can get there.
I'll tell you what, Joe has not been staying healthy while he's in Thailand. I can personally vouch for that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's another good bloke. Yeah.
It was funny because I was actually messaged him today. And I'm like, how much do you weigh now? And he's like, he's up to 80 kilos.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think he used to fight at like 63 or 62 or something like that. So
yeah, I thought it was 61, 62 around that area. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Oh no. Yeah.
And another thing I've noticed is you love to clinch in your fights, and you're a bit of an expert at it. But I've also seen you throw your hands, and you're pretty good at that too, and that's nice to watch. What is it about the Muay Khao style that attracts you?
Well, to be honest, like I kind of just fell into, I'm not gonna say style, but like fighting in that way. Like I didn't like getting hit in the head.
Yeah,
just to be honest with you, man, I didn't like getting hit in the head, and I didn't know how to stand in the pocket, and I found out I'd done a lot of sports like athletics, hockey, rugby, cycling, and a lot of them quad, hips are involved a lot.
Yep.
And I did a bit of jiu-jitsu beforehand, which is fucking awesome. I started with jiu-jitsu before Muay Thai. And then I noticed I had the strength in the hips, like I could knee really fucking hard. And I just kind of just relied on that to win fights. And then I started to, I guess you could say, a persona started to come into how I fight. Certain people lifted me up and showed me different things. I had Keith at the gym who taught me so much as well. He's a big padman. He was a great padman. Yeah, me and Sam, he had an army test to go back into the army, and he had to retake the test because he was pissing blood because me and Sam were hitting the belly button. Yeah. It was I wouldn't say it's funny, but yeah, like that's just shows how dedicated he was to holding pads for us, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah.
And I read that you're self-taught in boxing. Is that true?
No, not at all. I no one's self-taught in anything. Actually, I'm not going to say it. I'm sure there is lots of people. But I after I went through a whole lot of injuries. My foot, I was in a moon boot for 3 months, and I was training with it on. It's fucking stupid, but like all the way I was training is fucking stupid. Like I should have done it in a different way, but now I'm starting to wise on to these things. I actually I spent a lot of time floating, actually. I had a lot of neck problems. I actually cracked my neck. The top curve of your neck, the S.
Yep.
I think it was number 5. I cracked that, and I was always very tight. Upstairs, like my shoulders were always very tight, and we found out later that it was a body protecting itself or something, like it like tightened up to protect the injury.
Yeah.
I think I did that in Thailand, the training and the yanking of the neck and all that kind of stuff. But I spent a lot of time in a moon boot. With all those injuries, just I forgot what I was talking about.
Self-taught boxing.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
No,
and so that's where after all those injuries, I kind of stood back and I thought, I can't fight like this forever. I need to be smarter in the way that I fight. And I kind of became a little bit obsessed with it, I'd say. It became like I kind of I'm not gonna lie, like I got a bit bored with Muay Thai, or more just I needed something different. I forgot why I started Muay Thai. I started because I love to learn things and soak things up. I think it's like it's healthy to learn things and get the cogs of the mind going and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
But boxing, like, it recharged my batteries. Just again, it was crazy. Lomachenko, that little bloody man. He's yeah, he's crazy. Have you watched him fight?
Absolutely, mate. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a silly question that everyone has. But, yeah. Yeah, I'd probably say him, Roy Jones Jr., and I didn't know any of these people before I was kind of in the bubble of Muay Thai, and yeah, I just branched out to boxing, and I started actually teaching it before. It was only at a fitness gym, so it wasn't teaching people that wanted to fight or anything. It was more mums and stuff. So I actually started teaching boxing, so which is quite cool because I pulled things off the internet and I was writing it down in notebooks and all that kind of stuff. I kept a diary of what I taught that day, and like kind of, because I know if I write things down, I don't know, it just seeps in a lot better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went and did some training down at PCYC in St Kilda with a bloke named Jeremy. And dude, this guy's had like, I think 72 fights, don't quote me, 70 to 80 fights, I'd say, amateur. But everyone knows in boxing that amateur and pro, there's not much difference. Like, it's more, I'd probably say amateur boxing is more boxing, like skill orientated, rather than, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, yeah, that's probably good.
Well, like, amateurs will fight whoever, whenever, because they just want to rack up the fights and the experience. And once they turn pro, it's like, oh, I'm not going to fight this guy because he might beat me. He might fuck my record.
Yeah, and it was really cool, man. Like some of the things that it was all drills, and I spent like, I'm not gonna lie, like fuck all time. Like I had 2 or 3 PTs with him, and it was all footwork, and I did it, and my ankles and knees just kind of just blew up, inflamed and everything. They weren't used to it. I was so like flat foot. Yeah. And I've a bad feet. They just a bit knock-kneed. So I deal with that all the time. But I moved to boxing and realized how you can be stuck in the mud with Muay Thai, and just pulling, like I said before, like just pulling bits and pieces from different people. Yeah. And I also went to a gym in Melbourne. The trainer was named Lewis, and he taught me heaps as well. I'd probably say I spent with Jeremy about maybe like a week's worth of training, and then at the other gym I was there for about 3 months. Yeah. And I was just doing, it was more of a business side, just doing PTs, so forth, and he taught me some boxing and more the movement actually, and like how I can be here and there, which is quite cool, and not to always be stiff, and more just to flick your shots through and all that kind of stuff. One bloke that I actually love watching, he's from Australia, Ben Marnie. He's fucking awesome to watch. He's moved on to boxing, so I actually watch some of the things that he's doing, and like, he pull things from all different people, like I said before, and other boxers as well. So yeah, but sorry.
I was gonna say, like, because you like to, I've got this picture of you in my head, right? And because you like to draw different things from different people and sort of add that to your arsenal. I've just got like this picture of like this collage of you of like different parts of bodies and different people, and like you're molded into like this one fighter.
I love that you just said that. I work with I was like, I'm not the only weird one. In my head just said like, yeah, I work with like images in my head as well. Like someone will say something, we'll be having a conversation, I'll just dart off into the distance, and I've like got this scenario running through my head, and then I like come back to the conversation kind of thing. Imagination runs wild. That's cool, man. I like that. Yeah.
That's what I do. And then after a while, I give them my 5 cents worth, and it's like, oh, we've already moved on to the next topic. I'm like, oh shit, sorry.
Yeah. What day is it? Yeah. No, that's cool. I think in saying that as well, like I I went, what I was saying about 0 to 100 as well. Like I went from 0 to 100 in the sense of, boxing, learning everything new, and I kind of left behind what, got me so far in the sport. So
Yeah.
I toned that back a little bit. And I remember, people are good at certain things and you need to be good at that, but implement, things into that.
Yeah.
So that was another learning curve as well. So
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
you can still work on what they're good at because they enjoy that, but you still got to work on other things as well and integrate that into Muay Thai, or if we're talking about Muay Thai, I guess you could say.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Like learning how to duck and weave and stuff. What I did is I imagined my brain, my head is just a bowl. I just put my hand in, I threw absolutely everything out that I've learned in my head. Just I said to myself for like 6 months to a year, do that. Um, just throw everything out and just move over and learn something different because it can re-spark everything.
Yeah.
And I just went and learned just boxing, and
Yeah.
it was great. Like I wouldn't move around like, let's say, a boxer in a Muay Thai fight because I'll cop a knee or an elbow. I can't guard with my forearms or push off or use a Philly shell or anything like that. But it's good to just freshen things up every now and then, which is
Yeah.
it's why I started the sport. And I think a lot of people, because they enjoy learning different things. So yeah.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And then coming back from Thailand, you came back to Melbourne, and you fought an ex-Channel 7 fighter, Guan Nguyen, I think his name was, and at that time you had only had 12 fights. What was that like, and what did you learn in that fight, fighting someone much more experienced than you and a little bit smaller?
A little bit smaller. He was tiny compared to me. I was at the weigh-in and I'm like, because I don't know how it happened. I think maybe a fighter fell through on the other side. Please don't quote me. I could be wrong, but
Yep.
or I didn't get anyone to fight. It was one of them, and Andy from PTJ Gym in Sydney.
Yep.
The second time he actually saved me for a fight, hard trained and, got ready for, with someone to jump in. He hooked it up twice now. This
Yep.
was the second time, which is awesome. And he came in off the plane, and I think Andy said to him, people say things, but Andy said to him, like, you're fighting, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, all right, cool. So he hopped on the scales, and I think he was 64.7 kilograms. I hopped on the scale when I was 65, but, I'd cut a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And he was just walking around at that weight. And his body didn't look like he'd be training or anything like that. So I kind of made a promise to myself that I wouldn't clinch at all in that fight, because I'm fighting smaller, and I'm not saying that I'm bigger. If I clinched, I could have won that fight. That's not where my mentality is. It's more I'm fighting a Channel 7 fighter who's fought a lot of very good people, had a lot of fights. I should, play his game, what he's really good at, and, sit on the outside and practice what I've learned. Win or lose, I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as I do, like, myself proud, in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Learn new things. Yeah, do what I'm not good at, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty crazy. I was a little bit nervous too. I had John Wayne Parr commentating it, like, I'm walking around the ring, and you know how you wire to each corner when you step over the ropes and so forth.
Yeah.
I spin around, partly because I'm like, I don't want to look at anyone in the eye. Because I'm a bit nervous, I just spin around the spot, walk to my corner,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I saw John Wayne Parr, and I was like, oh, that's John Wayne Parr. Oh, that's John Wayne Parr with a headset on. Oh, that's John Wayne Parr with a mic. Fuck, he's commentating my fight. And then I just went, fuck. Yeah. And so I was real nervous. And I was pulling up my shorts and all that kind of stuff, like, nervous tendencies, all that kind of stuff. So, but he said some good things, which is, I don't know, it gave me a real good confidence boost, like, going into the sport. So, yeah, he's done a lot for, like, the sport's done everything. So it was good to hear those words from him.
Yeah.
So it boosted me a lot. But yeah, so
Especially
yeah,
having him
I
sit there live and commentate as well.
oh yeah, man. Like and I could hear certain things. Like I threw like a right hand, and I think it was a left hook, and it like just whizzed past his head.
Yeah.
Like he ducked down, and I'd hear "oh" or something from the commentators, and I go, "Oh my god, they're talking about me." Yeah, but yeah, I think he threw a left kick actually, and it hit me in the forearm, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "I know I can take that. I'm training like kick again. All right, I've got the timing of it now. Now I'm gonna cop it again and reply with heavy hands." And after the next one, I felt it like hit me, and I was like, all right, all plans aside, that hurt. I can't cop another one of them. And I kind of leant back from the next one, and he spun around, and I was ready to throw some hands, and he just dropped to the ground on purpose, so I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So like had a laugh with him and all that kind of stuff, and looked at Andy's corner, and I was like, he's like a monkey. He's so smart, like, and yeah,
Ling
yeah, and it was right. Yeah, yes. Yeah, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Like yeah, to be weighing same or a little bit heavier, but I wasn't. I would have been way heavier than this bloke, and he just schooled me basically. It made me on the. I was in the ring fighting the bloke, obviously, and he just made me admire, like, what Muay Thai is. Like, you can take apart a man much bigger than you with experience, and yeah, it was pretty cool to see from, especially if you're fighting him.
So what would you what were you? How much did you weigh come fight day? You reckon? How many
Come
kilos
fight
would you
day, I would have been maybe like because we cut a lot of water. I didn't. I'm just going to throw it out there. I cut weight very stupidly, and I think it's becoming into light, all across the world now, with people passing away and dying because of the issue. And I cut a lot of weight, and the weight that I'd be at before I start cutting, I'd be kilograms below that on fight day, and I'd always think, why aren't I at the weight that I am? And now I actually I study, like, just in my own time. I don't need a piece of paper or a course to do it. If I'm interested, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like the body and how it works, all that kind of stuff. And it's because my body wasn't retaining the water, and it was basically saying, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't cut that much water, and it's just rejecting everything.
Yeah.
So doing everything so unhealthily, I would start cutting weight, let's say 74, 74.5, but on the weigh-in day, the fight day, I'd walk around 72, around that. So that's a lot of weight that's kind of doing nothing. So yeah.
And humour me, how dumb have some of your weight cuts been?
I ain't gonna lie, man. I love it. Everything raw, honest. Upset some people. You open some people's eyes, including your own, especially when you say it out loud. It can just blow you away. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah. We're fucking real stupid, man. Me and Richie, we've cut a lot of weight. Sorry, this is Richard Fanous, who was fighting at Super Fight as well. And I remember one fight. It was the first fight that I came back from my break. I had 3 fights, had a break, and then came back and had 17 fights in 11 months or something. It was something ridiculous. I don't know how I did it to this day, but I cut. So it was the first fight back. Sorry, so my 4th fight. I cut 17 kilo in 14 days. A lot of it was fat. So I was training ridiculous. Like I did a 35-kilometer run. Yeah, like yeah. I think I did a 35-kilometer run. I think it's because I came back to training, and just split up with the missus, and like training was a great source to just let all your emotions out.
How long would a 35k run take you?
I kind of just I don't remember. It it was I was going at a like hefty pace, but mind you, I've been for the last, I think it was 15, 16, 17, like the last year and a half, 2 years, I've been, on a farm, running a farm, eating pies, also working, helping in the bakery. So I was pretty heavy, man. So I was just potting along 30 Ks, but at some points I'd be going pretty, pretty fast.
Jeez.
But I actually ran to it's a doctor in Melbourne who's really, really good with all the fighters. I've forgotten his name. Anyway, I was going to do my blood tests, and so I thought, oh, I don't have a car, fuck it. So I ran all the way there, and it was something from St Kilda to Marsden, or I've forgotten the suburb, sorry, but it was a ridiculous amount. And I was actually go up to the doctor's area, and I was in the waiting room in a sweatsuit in the corner, like trying to make all the drips of sweat go into one puddle so I could like not mess the place up. People were staring at me and everything. It was embarrassing. Yeah, but I got my blood test done, and the doctor, the person who owned it, didn't do it. It was a nurse, and they blew out my arm, missed the vein. So like my arm was just fucking sore because she couldn't hit it because obviously I was so dehydrated, and my arm was just in pain. And I remember I fought that fight that I fought, like in the clinch, I could feel like I couldn't kind of straighten my elbow. It wasn't too good. But so that was probably one of my worst weight cuts, I'd say.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, 35 kilometers in a day, that's nuts. Crazy. I wouldn't even run that in a month.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think my body was kind of conditioned to it. When I was younger, I'd sneak out the house and go do overnight shift at McDonald's. And then cycle home. It was like 10 Ks, probably about 5 Ks there, 5 Ks back, so 10 round. And then I'd quickly go home, hop in bed, and then get up for school from sleeping, quotation, marks, and then go to school, but I'd wag it and go to the gym instead. So yeah, I was used to that just ridiculous amount of training by that time. So yeah, I'd say it's smart. Yeah.
Far out, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about something really good now. Your fight with Nathan Robson, that was short of nothing. That was short of nothing epic. A back and forth battle where he dropped you with a head kick. Then you came back and dropped him a couple of times, and then you eventually stopped him with some knees. Give us your take on that fight, because that was a mad fight to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I don't care what anyone says. Like, I'll stop you there. And he didn't just drop me. He sent me into another stratosphere. Is that the right word, or galaxy? Like,
stratosphere. I think. Yeah. Another dimension.
Yeah, the dude kicked me into there, wherever that is. Yeah, like my trainer Don at the time. He it's a flash knockdown and all that kind of stuff, and you can be as tough as you want, man. You can be tough as nails and say, it's this, it's that, and it definitely wasn't. He hit me, like I punched myself in the face. Like he kicked the glove, and the glove hit me right in the I think it was the temple and the jaw. So I knocked myself. Yeah, but he dropped me. I hopped back up, and I actually couldn't see anything. It was all black. Yeah, and I kind of just I heard the ref, and I turned around, and I was like, "Fuck, there's the ref," and it was all shady, and it was like someone had. I've never done it before. Hopefully, it never happens. But someone had smacked a huge church bell right next to my head.
Yeah. And
I was just ringing, and then it kind of was like a high pitched frequency, like, and it just echoed out, and then everything kind of phased back into one. Yeah. And I just walked towards him, nice and calm, and just kept them going on with it. But that hurt. So he hurt me in the first round for sure. And I just came back, and just did what I trained and know to do, and block the left kick. I couldn't get the timing of it in the first round. It was pretty crazy. Like he was so quick, man. Uh, Nathan, he's quick. Yeah, he's very very quick. And after round two, I could. After round two had finished, I figured out all the timing and all that kind of stuff, so I could walk forward, block everything. When he'd come forward, I could push on the chest. If he'd jumping me, I'd push the chest, and all the things that Sang Tien had taught me. And so I was pretty like blown away. I didn't know what to do after I'd won, kind of thing. I just went to the corner. I was just all smiles, man. Didn't know what to do. Yeah, but
No, sorry, you go, mate.
no, I didn't want to say anything.
No, I was just going to say I find that's one of the most frustrating things is like when you're fighting someone or when you're sparring someone, and you know what they're going to do. So say like you're fighting a southpaw and he's got a wicked left kick. You know he's going to be throwing that left body kick. You know he's going to be throwing it, but they time it so well that they'll fake it. You got to stick your leg up to check it. Bang! As soon as you drop your leg, they get you. And the whole time you go in your head, you're going, I know you're going to throw that left kick. I know you're going to throw it. And then, but they're that good that they can just trick you. And when you think you block it, as soon as you put that knee down, then they bang, whip it up, and they get you every time. It's just like, fuck. I know you're going to throw that kick. Like, how do I stop it? I know you're going to throw it to me. You throw it 50 times around and you land it 49 and a half times, like.
Oh, there's a hidden thing there in what you just said. Like that just shows repetition and they're gonna throw it, but you're that good at it that you can throw it and you just can't block it. That's cool, man. I reckon that's cool. Just that whole thought process on body movement and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I actually after fighting Nathan, I trained a lot on how to fight a southpaw because I felt very uncomfortable, and Sam helped me out heaps actually on how to fight a southpaw.
Yeah. Showed
me actually how to pick apart a southpaw so they can't do anything pretty much. And luckily the next person I fought was a southpaw, so I was lucky in that area. But I after the fight I was talking to Nathan. And actually, he's a fucking awesome bloke, man. I talked to him and all that kind of stuff. I think we had some messages not too long ago. Oh, what are you up to? What are you doing next? And he's fighting boxing. Which is quite cool. So he's doing a boxing match, and I would like to as well have a boxing fight in the future, just to sharpen up tools and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, definitely. Definitely think you should, mate. And another very cool thing. Was you a couple of years ago, you fought in the 8-man tournament up in Queensland. Your first fight, you fought James Richards first, where you pretty much stalked him for the entire fight. You started very strong, but in the end he did enough to outpoint you and sort of just countered your walking forward aggression style. But he couldn't continue through to the next round because you broke his rib, and so you took his place, and then you fought Ben Marnie in the second round. You were unlucky. Again, you were doing the whole stalking thing, but Benny was on fire that night, and his supreme boxing skills, I don't think anyone was going to be beating him that day.
I don't think it was unlucky. I like to kind of approach things in more like a logical way. He just he picked it and he took his shot. He knew exactly what he was doing. No luck there at all, man. He picked me apart. He was. I landed a nice heavy kick, and then that was the only thing I landed on him the whole time, pretty much. He picked that shot big time. So, it was just cool because he actually made me appreciate boxing after that fight, and I probably credit that to me thinking all right, I really want to work on my hands and get used to things being thrown at me at shoulder level more than hip and leg height. So that was quite cool. But the first fight with Jacob.
Jacob, sorry, not James. My bad.
Oh no, I thought I said Jacob like held tentatively there, thinking like, wait, is it Jacob?
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
So,
I just remembered. Yeah, no, you're correct. I'm wrong.
alright, lucky. Yeah, but yeah, he picked me apart, which is quite cool. I actually learned from that one as well. I can't just storm forward and just uh, like just walk someone down. I learned that I could do that at a certain point, and then after that, hit a new caliber, and you think, oh wait, I can't do that. So really got to set things up. Like set things up is so important. But before that 8-man, I couldn't actually walk properly. I had a huge hematoma from Tyler on my right leg,
Yep.
and the from Tyler to the 8-man, I think they were pretty close. They were like 3 weeks apart or 2.5 weeks. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me. But I ran around the block once, which would have been maybe 1 kilometer, if, and hit pads a couple of times, and that was it to prepare for that fight. And I couldn't bend my knee. I had the range of motion that I had would probably be about 10 degrees, and I was icing it all the time, and I couldn't walk on it. It was actually playing on my mind a lot, and I thought about pulling out, like, because I didn't want to not do my best performance.
Yeah.
But then something inside of me said, like, do you want to pull out, or do you want to and regret it for the rest, not knowing for the rest of your life, or do you just want to jump in, give it a good hot crack, and nothing's unknown, if that makes sense. I don't know how to word it.
Certainly does.
Yeah, so that was my approach to it. Like, you talk to yourself all the time, so yeah, and tell yourself the good stuff. But yeah, that was it was a crazy experience. It was real good after the fight. Like, I was smashed up, man. Like, leg, I got concussed like pretty fucking bad. Not many people noticed, but like for months after at the gym, I was just just staring into the abyss. Yeah, like which is crazy because it's not really talked about in the fight, like industry so much. But like concussion and all that kind of stuff in footy, AFL, it's a pretty big thing at the moment. Like or past, but not many people notice. But like I was feeling the aftermath, so I pulled myself back and I said, like, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I need to, let my body rest and all that kind of stuff. And which is when I got into floating, actually. Have you floated before?
I have not, but I've actually had a chat with Dan Mini T, who runs a floating business himself over in Perth.
Yeah.
I am going to in the next couple of months definitely go and hit it up because I want to try it, because I know a lot of my mates and a lot of fighters seem to be doing that, and they a lot of them swear by it. It definitely helps with their mental aspect of it in and outside the ring. So I'd be keen just to try it just for my own what do you call it? Just your own vitality and just my own health and well-being, I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely. I think it always reminds me of that episode of Homer Simpson where he gets in that flotation tank and they put him in the truck and he. When I first went in it, I was like, hell, like, oh, should I go in it or am I going to end up in a truck? Yeah. But yeah, floating's real cool, man. I think a lot of athletes are doing it now. Hey.
Definitely, yep. I think that's probably why it's getting more popular as well, because you're getting a lot of world-class and world-renowned athletes getting on board with it, which is giving it more exposure.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's the first time that your body has felt that feeling and situation, has been put in that situation, than being in the womb, before you're born.
Yeah.
You're completely, everything is switched off, like every single muscle, because you don't have to float and there's no effort put in it at all.
Yeah.
And, you lose sense of your body when it starts and finishes because it's set to that temperature. So suddenly you're like, I don't know, what is your body and all that kind of stuff. And like, I started freaking out. I'm like, ah, yeah, like, you know, like the self and all that kind of stuff, which is quite cool. But yeah, and it's a lot of people are kind of scared to be left alone with their own thoughts for so long as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was a crazy experience, man. So yeah, I hopefully you enjoy your first one, man.
Man, when I do try it, I'll send you a message and let you know how it went.
Yeah, I'll call you for sure. That sounds sick.
Yeah, sweet, bro. And you just touched on it before the 8 man. You had your fight with Tyler a couple of years ago, and that's you actually fought and stopped Tyler. But since then, Mr. Hardcastle has been on an absolute tear, beating everyone who gets put in front of him. Given that you have had some considerable time away from the sport, has that contributed to your hunger to get back in the ring at all, knowing how well Tyler's going? And, you know, you've beaten him. Obviously, you know, things might be different now because you've had a bit of a hiatus and he's on a tear. But knowing that you've beaten him and seeing how far and how well he's coming along, does that inspire you?
Yeah. In a sense, he's on more than a tear, man. He's doing it, and he's also just doing it in style. Like, yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, and he's showing what Muay Thai is, like real Muay Thai, which is fucking awesome. So, but I'm not necessarily doesn't give me a kick. Let's say that you know, like I won a fight against Tyler. It's more like because I was supposed to fight Tyler on Rebellion before that, but I got really, really sick, and unfortunately I had to pull out. I was pissing a little bit and shitting a bit of blood. I picked up like a fucking bowel infection. It was horrible, man. Yeah, it was like a parasite kind of thing. So I was drinking and it was just pissing out straight away. I wasn't holding anything, no nutrients or anything like that. So yeah, it was pretty nuts. But so we met in Perth, and I took it on, I think it was 4 to 7 days, no, around that time frame kind of thing. Yeah. Because I actually wasn't ready for the fight at all. Well, when you say ready, like when are you really ready to fight?
Yeah.
That's just another question, hey. But I was smoking and doing all that kind of stuff, and like I was just running amok kind of thing.
Yep.
And I just took it on short notice because I kind of felt like I owed it to him, in a sense. Like I pulled out of a fight where he was preparing. Like we prepare for each other. It's like you have the utmost respect for the other person because they spend like months of their life to share fucking 15 minutes, sorry, more, 25 minutes with you inside a ring and you alone. Like there's a bond there that no one can really put a finger on until you've done it, I guess. Like you're giving part of your section of your life to someone else. So I just jumped in and took it on that notice. But to be honest, I think you prepare for one person to fight, and it's a very artistic game where you prepare for that person individually. It's like a Rubik's cube with fucking legs on it. You got to try and figure it out. It's moving around. It's fucking just does your head in.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just thinking, like you were saying, just weird pictures in my head. Yeah. But I think it would have been like an amazing fight back in Rebellion, and it was an amazing fight on Epic Perth as well. But I think it can be a plus fighting someone on short notice, but they've trained to fight someone else. I think that night you didn't see the best Tyler that he can be. I have had and this isn't a shot at anyone at all. I've had performances where I've gone like, I just didn't have my best night in the office, kind of thing. And I would love to fight Tyler again, but in the future, because he's the king now. Like he's the lion. He's the king of it at the moment. So I need to earn my way to go fight him again. So that's how I see it, in a sense. I think So we didn't see the best of Tyler that night. I reckon he had a lot more to give. So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
he's certainly been dishing it out since then.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I reckon he was there as well. Like, just a different night in the office kind of thing. You know, one person can be on it like really good, and the other person can just be off just a little bit. It's fighting,
Yeah.
and it's hard to describe that to someone or people that hadn't fought before. Like, it's a fight game. Anything can happen. So yeah, he's a dangerous one, man. And I'm like, hopefully he listens to this interview. And yeah, so I need your autograph, man. You get you're famous. Yeah, but yeah, congratulations, man, on the like contract and all that kind of stuff. And that's actually what I want to try and hit, the one promotion contract as well. So like yeah, fucking congratulations to him, yeah, and you, Tyler. So that's cool, man. Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you was, because, well, we touched on it a little bit before, like you talked about your nerves and you do get nervous before a fight. But when I watch you in the ring, maybe you're putting on a front or whatever, but you look real confident, and you like to, it looks like you like to stalk your opponents like you're hunting for the kill, and then you just zero in and attack. But mentally, what are you like before a fight, and how do you manage to keep so composed, or to keep your emotions in check?
I think it's not necessarily like there are emotions, you know, just before the fight, during the fight, a week before the fight, like in, you know, time periods and all that kind of stuff. But you go to another place. I think it was something actually Conor McGregor said, like when you cut weight, when you've got the tracksuit on, when you're cutting weight, when you've done all the hard yards, like your muscles are stiff, they're rock solid. Like, you know, you get hit, it doesn't hurt so much. You're light on your feet. You feel sharp, and all that. Everything kind of intertwines. You go to another place when you're prepping for a fight. You feel, I'd probably say two of the best words to describe it would be raw and rugged. Like, yeah, and I feel, I don't know, you just feel ready for it. I can't describe it. I used to think that I didn't get nervous before fights, and I'd actually ask people like, I'd say, you know, do you get nervous before fights? And they'd say, yeah, really nervous. Or they'd either ask me, do you get nervous? And I'd say, no, not at all. And after, you know, having a couple of those conversations, I've actually like took myself back. You know, you have talks with yourself and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, like, wow, like, am I nervous before I fight? Or like, which is quite cool, because I'd have these conversations with beginners in Muay Thai, like you know, people that would come in, or just, you know, like mates and all that kind of stuff. So, which is fucking awesome, because you learn from anyone. So they teach you stuff about yourself you didn't even know. And yeah, I realized I kind of just phased it out in my head and just focused on I'd probably say visualizing, maybe, is that the best word?
Yep.
I'd visualize myself succeeding and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of it had to do with confidence in myself. It can sometimes be seen as like a cockiness, but if you're not confident in yourself, you're in the wrong game, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd probably say, so yeah, I think I'll go on a tangent again. I get nervous. But yeah, I do get nervous. I noticed when I had a chat to myself, you know, just me, myself, and I noticed that, or I found out that I do get nervous before fights, and I was just suppressing it.
Yep.
So I was kind of very slow in the first round, and didn't know what to do all the time. So I wasn't really awake, and I'd actually get caught with some things in the first round, and then I'd wake up in the second, third, fourth, fifth round, and then I'd be like, all right, now I'm fighting. Holy fuck! Like, you know, I was pretty nervous, had an adrenaline dump. You know, where the fuck am I? All that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, like I'd probably say to anyone like starting fighting, be it like an interclub, I don't care what anyone says. Like, if you're having an interclub, it's a fight. You just got some pads on you. Yeah, like the nerves, everything's the same. Probably it might be amplified by lights and crowds and expectations. That's a big one. It's a killer. Yeah, just do it, and you probably. It's a crazy feeling, man. Like I'd probably say fighting is the most naked you could be in front of people you don't even know. Like,
It is,
you know,
man.
just,
It's a crazy feeling standing in the ring across from someone, knowing that as soon as that bell rings, they're going to try and take your head off, and vice versa, because it's not something that happens to many people, and it's not something that happens often.
yeah, man. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like, I don't need to be Mr. Tough Man. Like, in a couple of fights, right at the start, I had questioned myself. Like, you know, I receive a hard blow, and I kind of think like, oh fuck, that was hard. Like, can I do this? Can I do this? And I
Yeah,
pull myself through. I don't need to be tough and say I've always been tough. Like, you kind of build yourself up.
yeah,
Um, yeah, you learn heaps about yourself. Like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then things that you think you couldn't do, like, and never imagine yourself doing, like, you can do them. And yeah, it's pretty, yeah. That's why I think Muay Thai is so good for mental health and mentality in general, even for office goers and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, you can get down working in a fucking, like, you know, 3x3. That's a big cubicle to work in. Like, you know, that can get you down, man. Doing that every single fucking day.
yeah.
And like, yeah, if you do Muay Thai, that might just make your life a little bit easier, man. You know, get to
Exactly.
go punch the pads instead of the boss. So. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. That's my take on nerves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm even nervous now. Like, like talking to you, you know, the whole interview thing. Like,
Oh, you're doing fine, mate. Crack open.
yeah, no, it's good. But yeah, like, yeah, anything like that. So, like, yeah, nerves is huge, but I reckon it peps you up, keeps you on your toes, which is quite good. So,
It
yeah.
does, mate. No, mate, you don't need to be nervous talking to me. Just crack open a Cory, settle those nerves, you'll be right.
Yeah, I know.
And since fighting in that 8-man a couple of years ago, you haven't fought since. So the $1 million question, Mr. Smith, is a comeback on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm already coming back. I've always been here, just clawing myself back. Just my body has just gone, fuck you, Cory, what the hell are you doing having 17 fights in 11 months, you bastard? Like, yeah, so I'm just like pulling out the whip, just like, shut up and just do it. Yeah, so I've just been in recovery mode, like learning everything recovery, you know, doing it like ice baths, like, but to a new level, like, I bring out a 5 kilo bag of ice. I bought it down at Foodland, and I just came up with the idea. I don't know if it's good or not, but like, I was trying all this new shit. Like, and I just bought it at Foodland, walked across to the beach, and I had all my things, you know, roll out, spiky ball, that kind of stuff. I walk into the ocean, and it was a freezing cold day, and I go like up to probably like nipple height, and I'd hug the ice bag because it takes away your breath. Like, you can't breathe properly.
Yep.
It's a weird feeling, and I made a promise to myself in my head that I go like out of the water and have a break, you know, knowing that I go back in when half the bag has melted. So it's like I'm setting myself goals.
Yeah.
And worst mistake ever, man. It was a cold day. The fucker didn't melt for ages. So yeah, fucking so dumb, man. But yeah, like you know, I came back out. I'm like, fuck, that took ages. And then I do like you know, I wouldn't stretch because I was very cold and brittle, and then you know, just do some exercises a little bit, you know, and then I go back in again, and then I'd have the handle and I'd swing it, have it on my back, and then I'd rotate, moving all my body in different ways and stuff. And this is all for my ankle. I've actually got some bad ankle injury at the moment. I got thrown in the clinch at the gym while I was training like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like kind of cracked it a little bit, and I cracked it, yeah. And I've got some the ligaments just don't feel too nice, put it that way. Yeah, so working through that. But I've actually got 2 fights booked in. One on Mark Hammer's show, Castanini, in Melbourne, which I've never fought on Warriors Way, which I'm actually really fucking excited for, because I've always, you know, well, not always, but I've gone to many of his shows, and it's a good show. So yeah, down in Doncaster in Melbourne. So yeah, can't wait to jump onto that one. Like, yeah, really pumped for that. And a friend of mine who's just started promoting, actually, he had his first promotion this weekend, just past, Mark Gelsey, Hardcore Promotions.
Hardcore, yeah.
Yeah, did you watch it?
I watched the main event between Kwan and Jay.
Yeah. How nuts was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Jay looked a little bit upset with the decision, but I thought it was a good decision.
I thought it was a very fair decision, but in saying that, taking nothing away from
Nah,
Jay, like he threw some rear uppercuts. It just, I don't know, it was like an uppercut from hell or something. It
yeah,
just, yeah, it was fucking good. But yeah, Chris Bradford always trains his dudes with like really good boxing and I think elbows real good coming out of that gym as well. So like you got Kid Inc, which is yeah, he's fucking awesome as well. He fought just recently here in Adelaide from a guy from Strong Heart Gym, which is where I'm at now,
yeah.
named Nick, and he lost. Kid Inc did, but it was like a really good fight to watch, which is quite cool. So yeah, yeah, I kind of miss Melbourne, man.
Yeah, nice. So the Cowboys coming back in a few. When's Hammers? Not this one, obviously not the one this weekend. When's the next show that you're
No,
booked in for?
oh, I wish, man. October 5th.
October, sweet. And when's the Havoc promotion?
So Hardcore Promotions
Hardcore,
is
sorry.
on the no, you're sweet. I forget all the time names and things like that. So Hardcore Promotions is on the 24th of September. Hang on, September, August, August, September, October, August, 24th of August.
Well,
Yeah, and fucking hell. Yeah, 24th of August, and yeah, actually, I would love to, get rid of a couple of tables. So if anyone's listening, like, you can contact me for tickets. So I'll be fighting, yeah, there. So, but I would like to jump in before that as well. But I'm not putting a date on that just yet. I'm just getting myself ready so that I can go to war. I think the best thing about fighting, man, is like win or lose, doesn't matter. But as long as like the crowd get to see a war, like isn't that what you pay for, kind of thing?
yeah,
In a sense, like that's what Muay Thai is. So yeah, I love Sexan's approach to it. Like as long as they get a fucking good watch. So yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
violence they call it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't wait. In a sense, yeah, get me all excited in the car. Yeah, I'm actually just like out in the car talking to you, and I'm watching everyone in the gym training because I
Yeah,
wanted to do it in there because I thought it's a place where I express myself all the time. Like all the stresses of life leave you, and you create art. It's like a canvas.
yeah,
So I thought I'd be able to, not be, like talk in there, and I'd feel comfortable, that kind of stuff. I can express myself through what we're doing now, but in the gym as well. But it was too fucking loud. Yeah.
as long as you got the aircon on, mate, so you don't roast, that's okay.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah.
and what's some advice that you could give to someone who has, or maybe going through some of the things that you have overcome to get to where you are now?
Uh, Time fixes everything. That's just something that I kind of like just pull myself back to. Time fixes everything. Not everything is forever. Um, just you can push through anything, man. And there's always someone to talk to. Like I've been in points where I've hit like rock bottom, man. Like I go missing kind of thing. Yeah, and I laugh about it, but it's just a way of talking about it freely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the end, man. You can just have a chat to someone. Like yeah, so yeah, put yourself out of your comfort zone, but in a healthy manner. Like if you can't handle the heat, like going to the bottom of the furnace to like get used to the heat, in a sense, is like a good way of doing it. But like do it in doses. Start Muay Thai class. Go to a beginner's class, and you'll notice like how good you feel straight away afterwards. At work you'll just be, I don't know, you'll feel better and all that kind of stuff. You'll start to notice that you're more in charge of your own destiny than you realise. Yeah, you're not so stuck as you think. Yeah, once you're open to that, yeah, shit changes. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
No, that's perfect advice. It's sound advice, mate, coming from someone who's lived it.
Yeah.
And if people want to contact you, follow you, connect with you, how can they get a hold of you, mate? You got like Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I'll have to take off the alfoil tin hat, and then yeah, then you can contact me. That was a horrible dad joke. All right, leave that one. Edit that out, please. Fuck. Yeah, Instagram. There's two of me. There's a fake account. You bastard. Whoever did that. There's I think it's at Cory_Cowboy. I think that's it. Yeah. For Instagram or Facebook Messenger, and like yeah, I like having a chat kind of thing. So I yeah, I like to be a people person, I guess. Like, I've had messages from people overseas, and I'll talk to them a little bit, and then let it go, because you focus on your own stuff. So yeah, if you're ever having if you're ever struggling either, man, like even if it's me and like I've just talked or something, fucking you feel it a little bit, like even if it has to be me for the first time, and then you can talk something, like fucking just do it. It's not a problem at all. Yeah, like I'm lucky enough to have people in that area that help me out. So yeah, like yeah, or anything like that. But yeah.
Awesome, brother. And last but not least, anyone that you want to thank or give a shout out to?
My mum. Yeah, fucking oath, man. The woman, like she's superwoman. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. She'd stand out in the rain with an umbrella as I was doing hockey, drive me ridiculous fucking amounts of travel time to games, and if I had a buy, she'd drop me to some place to go do training, and yeah, amazing woman. Yeah, so I love you, mum. Yeah, and yeah, my dad, Daryl, yeah, he's helping me out heaps at the moment, actually, just with the dishes when I'm training too much, and I leave the dishes out. So. Yeah, so yeah, bunking with the parents at the moment. But yeah, and I'd probably say yeah, just Don Miller. He's helped me out so much, man. Like I can't even put it into words, actually. So yeah, he helped me out a lot. And yeah, so and actually, there's been heaps of people. I don't need to say who you are, because I thank you too much. I'll overly say it. Yeah, so but everyone at Strong Heart Gym as well, like helping me get back into it. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah, Richie and Ricardo helped me out a lot recently as well with yeah, training and stuff. So thanks, guys.
Awesome. And a quick shout out to Donnie, because it's his birthday today. So happy birthday.
I know, I sent him a message and I said happy birthday. So yeah, happy birthday, mate. And yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, thank you very, very much for our in-depth chat. It's been great, and I'm really excited that you're going to be back in the ring some later on this year. So I can't wait to watch you and see the Cowboy back in action. So thanks for your time, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. All right, I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate.
All right, see you, mate. Bye.
Fighters around the world ask questions and investigate the lives of great warriors, revered and notorious, infamous and legendary. That to me is glorious. Come kick it, still talk some shit with me. I'll answer, you can answer and explain to me the history. I had to throw a vicious knee. I got a passion for the art of 8 limbs. I'm just asking from the heart. So as I conclude this interview, thanks so much for sitting through. Loved all the fighters and the folks that listen. This for you.